Hey everyone, it's DeagleBeagle. I figured I'd make a guide on how to use Annihilape in at least 5 different ways, even though Jamie Boyd already came up with some of these things. Weakness policy might be a decent way to use it, but that's assuming they'll actually hit your weakness policy or hit you for super effective damage. They might, trying to kill you when you're trying to use bulk up. I like the steel one in rain. I'm surprised
Forget
he
Siri
showed
searching
the
that.
steel one. Most people use fire. Steel is different though because they're used to trying to counter the fire one. Steel one I think is best in rain though. Just surprised he shows steel as the main one. Is there even a comment about that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, anyways, most of the time it's supposed to be fire type so you don't get burned. And has decent defensive typing too with that. Even though you can use other turret types, like steel is good. I have used it very well on a rain team, but I kind of gave up on using bulk up Annihilate because everyone's trying so hard to use their like most powerful Pokemon to double up on it every turn. You don't use protect or predict that you might not protect one turn and double up. So it's like I I don't even use the bulk up one anymore. I don't even really like using Annihilape in general because I feel like it's one of the 4 toxic Pokemon, like Mousehold, Annihilape, Dondozo, Tatsugiri. They're just like too powerful unless you specifically try to counter it. Now that doesn't. I would say Mouse is actually not even that good unless you're using it with something like Annihilate, but on its own, I wouldn't say it's top tier anymore because you can slap on a Rocky Helmet or use a ton of immunities or resistances and it won't do that much. But otherwise, it could threaten certain teams too much by being kind of OP. But anyways, um, if you use, what was I gonna say? Oh, you can use a lot of these Annihilapes with Mousehold. But anyways, this one is one idea I thought of. I want to get the trend of Endure Reversal going, or maybe I shouldn't because it might be kind of OP, but Endure with Reversal, and you have Terra Fighting just in case you need more power. You could use another move. I was almost thinking of Acrobatics, but when Reversal is 200 power plus you can Terra Fighting it, I don't see the point. And you have to activate Salic before you use Acrobatics. So I'm like, maybe just use um, maybe just use this set or something slightly different. You might be able to use a different attacking move, like maybe close combat before you use reversal and then reversal later. Okay, but anyways, here's another one. Choice Scarf, you could use like Phantom Force and stuff, but I find that it takes too many turns and they might expect it. It used to be really good, by the way, to use like Shadow Force Giratina plus Close Combat Ape, Infernape, because if they would switch in anything, it would probably die from the both of those combined, like a Lugia or a normal type or whatever, like a Blissey or something. So, but I don't know about that combo in this day and age. Um, I would use Shadow Claw with it personally. If you use like a Helping Hand Shadow Claw, it should kill Goldangos. Let me check the the thing again. You could make it, by the way, Jolly, but really that would be just outspeed Dragapults. So I don't know if it's really worth it. Shadow Claw versus Goldango. Wait, what? Oh, that's great. Goldango. So it almost kills it. If it had bulk, if it had max bulk, then you would need. I mean, Helping Hand would still almost always KO the ones that are max HP unless they Terra Steel. But if they Terra Steel, you could predict that and use a fighting move instead, like close combat. So that's where the predictions come in. U-turn I think might be the best fourth move on it over Rock Slide or something. Rock Slide could give you some flinches, but if it's not ideal to have, Annihilape in for some odd reason. Like for example, if they have um, a Moongus with Rage Powder, are you really gonna wanna use Final Gambit versus that and have it survive and you die? Like I guess in that case maybe you shouldn't uh, lead or pull out Annihilape at that time, but I don't know. I just think U-turn might be pretty decent for also seeing what they switch to and being able to switch in a counter switch in. And then this is one that's not used very much. I think it could be pretty good. I don't know why it's not used more. I mean, leftovers is pretty good with protect, but rest Chesto makes it so that if they use like Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Wave or try to poison you or whatever, you can let them, and yeah, even if they try to put you asleep, you still it buys you a turn, and then you can even rest later, and they can't spore you while you're asleep. So, I mean, you probably wouldn't want to rest though if the Chesto's already popped, but it depends. If you have so many boosts and you have screens up, maybe. But it's more for like countering the one time spore and the wisps and stuff, and then using rest after that. I would say Lum, but then I wouldn't really use Lum with it, because then if they burn it, then you can't really rest without a penalty. On other Pokemon, I would use Lum Rest, like on Dondozo, because I mean even Dondozo you could use Chesto Berry, but I might want to use Lumberry just so that because it has so many stats with Dondozo that it's different, and you can just rest it off later and while their attacks. But with Annihilape, not as much because it's not +2 and everything, especially defensively. So then here's another idea. Leftover. This is probably the most. I meant to make it fire or something. This is probably the most standard one, even though I guess you could use fighting, but that wouldn't help you defensively. Maybe you don't need fire actually on this one if you make it fast enough to outspeed most Rotoms and stuff, but even then you could still get whisked by something faster like Talonflame or Dragonbolt or Arcanine, so you could use fire with it and use sub though to block. But if you use sub, then fire doesn't make total sense. It is good though versus spores, even though you could just use like Chesto or something instead. I probably wouldn't use sub with it anymore. It used to be good earlier, when people didn't expect it and they were new to Annihilate, but even then it probably wasn't as good as other things like Rest or something. And then here's really the most standard one. These stats, by the way, are not specific, so if you're wondering why it's those ones, I just figured it probably doesn't need that much attack. You could give it some more attack. I think actually you might want to give it some more attack to one shot. For example, Goldango with a Rage Fist. After, let's just say, like, what do you call it? One times effect. You might want to make it. How much attack does it need for that? Oh, it doesn't need any actually. Yeah, so never mind. You don't even. I forget. There's other Pokemon though that you might want to kill in one hit after they hit you one time, with Rage Fist. But generally, I think you should probably use a lot of special defense with it, considering how it has bulk up and max HP. Even on the oh no, this one's actually wrong. Sorry. I forgot. You're supposed to make it max HP with Final Gambit, and and this could use lower speed because you really just need to outspeed maybe Meowscarada or Kilowattrel or Talonflame. So you probably could use the low 130s with it and then put the rest in attack. So I gotta redo that Goldango calculation then. If it's no, it's still here. Okay, so it would do that much to Goldango. the one that would have max attack would possibly one shot a Goldango, but the Scarf one would not want to do that. It would want to use some speed and max HP for Final Gambit, and then you could use a little bit of attack. But I don't recommend the Scarf one. To me, this is the weakest one. Even though it's immune to Fake Out and is generally fast with Final Gambit, it just, I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's predictable. They send it. They have they have Sash Pokemon lead versus it, or Ghost types, or Pokemon with high HP, or a lot of times too when you Final Gambit, you're not necessarily even gaining an advantage, and they might try to hit you with a priority move to weaken your HP before you use Final Gambit. Like they might just hit you with an Aqua Jet or something, or a Shadow Sneak right before you Final Gambit, and then you don't really kill much with it after that. So there's a lot of tricks to go around this, or gain the speed control, like set up a priority Tailwind and hit it, or you could sacrifice a Pokemon like Rage Powder with a Pokemon and set up Trick Room and then kind of counter it. So actually, sometimes when you Final Gambit, you're playing into their trap. Like versus a hard Trick Room team, believe it or not, the best way to counter it is to play really passively. Like just have just stop their offense, but the more you attack a hard Trick Room team, the usually the better they will do against you, because then they get to switch in their really offensive Pokemon against you, because they normally lead with something like Indeedee that is not very offensive, but when you kill that with like you you kill that, then they'll just switch in like Torkoal or Hatterene or something in the back and sweep you easier. So I don't know about Final Gambit. I would say probably don't use this Scarf one. Probably use something different. Try out this Reversal one. I don't know how good it is yet. It's just an idea I came up with. And try out these other ones, the new ones. You already know probably how good the old regular type of Annihilape is. Okay, thanks for watching.